sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. I pulled out my loom and I'm making kitchen towels today. Here's an older towel that I made a long time ago that I still use, and I love this towel, so I thought I'd show you how easy it is to weave with cotton yarn. Here's cotton yarn that you typically find at the stores around me. You need 3 balls to warp your loom and then 2 balls to weave. So I hope in this video you'll be able to see how easy it is to make the fabric for towels and then how to finish it up and sew the ends. The my channel has an old video that shows you how to warp your loom if you need a little refresher on that. So let's get started. Here's my beautiful hand woven fabric I made so that now I can make towels. So I'm going to start by zigzagging each end so that this doesn't come out as I work. So let's sit down here at the sewing machine. I'm using my sewing machine that has a zigzag stitch. The one I typically use doesn't have a zigzag, so this is the one I pull out. This is my mother-in-law's old sewing machine. And I just follow along. Let's see, I'll go back and forth right here at the beginning. And we will just follow one of these lines in the weaving. I'll follow one of these yarns, and these are kind of loose, so I'm going to leave them off to the side. We'll trim those off later, and I'll go all the way to the end. My zigzag stitch is kind of wide, but I want it to be tight, so I'm on a number 2 on this machine, and it's a wide zigzag stitch. And when I get to the end here, I'm going to back stitch a little bit again, and I'll do the same to the other side. The length of my fabric here is 84 inches long, so I figured out I could get 3 towels out of this one piece of fabric. So I'm going to cut them into segments of 24 inches. After, I'm not going to cut yet, after I measure. So this is 24 inches right about here. So I'm going to mark it with a little pin, and I'm going to start zigzagging on either side of this pin, following the yarn. So the weaving has, you know, the yarn stitches across this way, and I will stitch, I think, just like a 1/4 of an inch on either side of this pin, because after I zigzag on either side, I will be cutting between. The zigzag will hold everything together. So now I'm going to sit down at the machine and zigzag. All right, now that we have our zigzag stitches in, we're going to trim right next to that stitch. And it might be hard to see if you've used thread that matches like mine. If you want to use a darker thread, you'll be able to see that zigzag stitch better, but then you might have trouble hiding it when you go to do your hem. It might hide just fine. And then you get rid of this waist here, being careful not to, just be careful with your edge here, and then we're going to fold it in a 1/2 inch twice for the hem, and we'll zigzag across here as well. So you'll want to do that on this side, and then in the middle of your fabric we should have another zigzag line, 2 lines on either side of where I want to trim. So I'm going to cut across right between the 2 zigzag lines, and then I will also be folding that in twice. Looks like yeah, there we go. Might need to get a sharper blade. Fold this in 2 times, 1/2 inch, pin it, and then sew those edges. The last thing to do with your towel is to wash it. All the weaving will tighten up, and it will be just a great kitchen towel to use. It looks a little bit loose right now, but after you wash it, everything will kind of bind together. Enjoy! Thank you for joining me today.